It's because I'm white. That's what it is.
You're white?
I'm a white Hispanic. But no one's white down here when they go to the Club World Cup.
Well, let's talk about this for a second. Can we talk about this for a second? Because what's headed this way, Dominique, optically and otherwise to sports, we are warning you now, okay? And maybe you do not care about this because it's 10th on the list of American horrors at the moment, and you've got bills to pay, and you're not worried about other people's problems.
Man, why you just frame me as someone who doesn't care? That was a hell of a setup.
But when it comes to ICE and the soccer games that are approaching here and the racial profiling of we're going to have to prove you're a citizen as you walk into the stadium with, you know, am I overstating this when I say it looks like state militia? Like, am I overstate? I don't want to actually be using hyperbole, but if there are protesters and you're sending in the National Guard to overreact to peaceful protesters, and this is the escalation of things, white people against non-white people, and brown people are going to be profiled of prove you live here, person who wants to go to a soccer game. The optics of that, does anyone care? Are we past, are we in such deep shame at this point that, okay, those are the optics we're going to choose because that's the war we're in at home over American democracy and the hating of others?
So we know how they profile and they go to places where Hispanics hang out. We've seen it interrupted restaurants, graduations in Hispanic communities. On the live broadcast yesterday during the NBA Finals that we did, I mentioned that instead of being where I had a prior commitment, but I broke it to be here. That prior commitment was a Telemundo party for 1 year out for the World Cup, celebrating us being the host nation for it. That boat that went out for this party, the Telemundo 1 year out party, was boarded by the Coast Guard. And people that were on that boat, including local county officials, FIFA officials, they had to show documentation. And you wonder, where did the Coast Guard? Is this just a random occurrence? No, they targeted the Telemundo party. And yesterday we mentioned that ICE and Homeland Security are going to be at the Club World Cup game on Saturday, where it kicks off here in Miami. And they said any non-American is going to have to provide their papers. Okay, cool. Is there an American Express lane? How do I prove I'm an American? In Miami, they're just going to be grabbing people that look different. And plenty of Americans and plenty of conservative Cubans are going to find out exactly where they stand right now in this nation. No American should have to feel that inconvenienced going to what is a sporting event, something that they do with their income, that they want to have a good time with their family, they want to feel safe, and they're going to feel like their rights are violated. And they're going to feel profiled because someone in a uniform wearing a mask is going to demand to see proof that they were born here or are a citizen. It should scare you. And there are a lot of people that are going to get a rude awakening going to these games.
You brought up the optics. I think the optics are the point. It's not a mistake that a lot of these things are public and the choice is to make big shows of it, because I think while some of us get up in arms about the optics, I think there are some people who are encouraged by the optics. It appears to be happening what they say that they want it to happen. So, and then the reaction to it is also something that fuels another reaction. I'm not proposing any proper solution or that behavior should change, but I think that it's silly for us to be surprised by the fact that this is happening and the fact that they're choosing such public events to spoil. It's sad. And it stinks.
And if you see where ICE is concentrating their efforts, they're in blue cities, more melting pot cities. What's going on in Miami? Miami's not a blue city. Miami is the only MAGA metropolis there is in the Union. Why Miami? Why so much presence in Miami? You know why. Everyone knows why. Being a red county doesn't buy you anything. It's not going to buy you anything with this administration. It's not going to buy you anything to an ICE official that says, you don't look American enough to me.
This is where we're headed, and are, I guess. I shouldn't even say it's where we're headed. And so I would just ask the audience who, spends a night with us last night just enjoying a finals game, because we are connected to this audience in an unusual way in a number of different places. And sometimes it's been in talking about the immigrant struggle or whatever it is that's different for brown people or black people that makes us now WDEI in sports radio. But what is here now for our people in Miami in the face, about to be brought by sports, is the idea that you and all your friends can go to the game and be stopped because all of us here look kind of from somewhere else. Like, we don't. Everyone here, everyone I see here, I just start talking Spanish to, often incorrectly.
I really don't understand how we just take their word for it that Americans have nothing to worry about, but non-Americans provide your papers. How are we doing this exactly? It's just by how I look.
I would say that maybe not the best judgment to have Rose's hockey reaction behind you while we're talking about.
Actually, perfect. Actually, perfect.
I'm just saying.
Perfect reaction to what's coming this way. And Johnny Infantino, this feels like it was brokered. Chumming around in the Oval Office, seeing Johnny Infantino has never met a tyrant he doesn't love. And this was allowed by FIFA, part of the deal. And it's just, people have no idea, potentially, how bad this can be, how violated they will feel, especially down here, where the voting demographics for Latinos are heavily conservative. Heavily.
Speaking of voting demographics, I think Chris just voted with his feet. He just walked right out of there. He was like, I don't want nothing to do with this.
He's producing the show. He wasn't. You thought he was cannonballing there?
He was cannonballing.
South Florida is a. We touched on the TPS, the travel protections for Venezuelans and Cubans being lifted, and a lot of Miami conservatives found out exactly where they are in the pecking order. You had Maria Elvira Salazar, Carlos Jimenez insist that this wasn't going to happen. And then it did happen, and they're left holding the bag. And while they say we're going to work with the current administration to make sure that this is reversed, they're finding out exactly where they stand with this administration. Doesn't matter if you voted red, doesn't matter if you support the cause. If you're different, you're going to be lumped in with everybody else, no matter your loyalty to me.
I personally, call me crazy, I would like us to respect everyone's rights, no matter whether they've written one piece or 100 pieces. That's all.
He really.
I mean, if you are a citizen of the Writers Association, I demand that you be treated as such.
Let me see your papers, Roy. Let me see your hockey newspapers.
All right, I will text you my article. All right, hold on, give me 1 second.
Okay, prove yourself.
Roy, don't show him nothing.
You
ain't got to show him nothing, Roy.
Then you can stay in the Pro Writers. I really should have taken that angle. I really show me your paper, and then you can stay.